Hi, I'm Adam and welcome to the Tasso Works Scooter Workshop, and let's find out what's going on today.
So let's fit the dropped handlebars to this JPS model. Now it's the same dropped handlebar that we will use in the JPS, and this also fits the TG model stroke GP300SE version, which also has the handlebar from the TG in it. Now the TG handlebar looks like this. Obviously it's with the headlamp on the front, and there are literally 2 screws to remove this handlebar top, and it's the same for that. 2 screws on the underneath will remove the lid and allow us to get access through to the handlebars themselves, and these are the bolts that we'll be changing. Now this particular TD250 handlebar is specific to this JPS and TG/SE model, so make sure you order the right one when you're doing it. The other handlebar we do is a TD240, and that fits the GT and GP models. That's the ones with the square trapezoidal headlight. So in this video we're going to fit the handlebar to this JPS model. So firstly we want to remove the handlebar cover, and you'll find 2 screws on the underneath which use a Phillips screwdriver. So just with a small screwdriver, just feel your way up till you find the screw and undo both screws. And tilt the other way, you can get the screwdriver in a lot easier. And remove the screw. Okay, so with the 2 screws removed from underneath, we can now remove the handlebar top, and this is just a case of lifting the top off. Now you'll find that the cable will still be attached, so that you just need to press the little button here, and this will release the tab from the bottom of the Speedo, and then you can place that somewhere safe. So now we have the handlebars that we'll be working from. Now we need to change these rods, so obviously these are the straight rods and we're going to fit them with the new drop rods. The first thing to do will be to remove the master cylinder, brake master cylinders on each side. We'll do one side at a time because it makes things a lot easier. So first thing will be to remove using an M8. Now you can use this with a wrench, or as I used to use is with an impact gun. And we'll just take these 2 away from here, and then place your brake holder just to one side with the 2 screws. Now you can let this hang down. Next we need to remove the switch panel itself. Now there are 2 screws located on the very back of this switch, one at the top and one at the bottom, and just simply get your Phillips screwdriver and undo both screws. And the other one which is below. Okay, now the 2 screws removed, you can place these to one side. You can remove the switch from the front and just let that pop down. Now this is the holder. Now this has got a pin which is located into the back of the rod itself. Now they'll just be a little bit tight, and just pull it off and you'll see that pin. Just be really careful not to break that, but that's the actual holder away. I can put that to one side. We can remove the 2 bolts from here. Okay, now you'll notice on these the 2 bolts are 2 different heights. One is a little bit longer than the other, so just make sure that when you're putting it back that you put them into the correct bolt hole positions. What you want to do is remove this grip from here. Now this isn't easy because it's obviously pretty well much on there, so the simple job to do is to simply get your screwdriver, just pop that down there slightly, and then spray this with some WD-40, and what that will do is it will release the grip from this rod, and you can just slide it straight off. Okay, so next we're going to take the dropped handlebar. Now in your fitting kit you'll find the bevel washers, and these will contour the tube itself. Now just place the bevel washer underneath the head of each bolt, and then through the rod and bolt it down like so. Just finger tight's fine for the minute. And again, the same with here, the bevel so that it's curving down, and place that onto the bar as well. We're finger tight just now. Now the next thing to do will be to tighten up these two bolts. Now there is no factory setting for this that we've seen in any of the manuals, but when we took them off from the original bike, they came out at about 18 Newton meters of torque. So we're just going to do the same thing and put them back. So we set 15, 3, 18. So let's just simply tighten that back up to the 18 that we had before. There's one. And there's two. That's the bar. Then it's just a case of putting everything back on the way you took it off. So let's go with the light first. And again, you'll see there's a little tab just in there. Now that has to fit into the tab at the front of the hole there, so it aligns the brake, the switch gear up, if I can find it. So that will line up in there, and you'll feel that just fit into the recess. And it's a nice tight fit, and you want that to be there because you don't want any movement from this switch gear. Next, take the front of the switch and place that onto there. Then with the two screws that you took off, pop them just back into the rear using your Phillips screwdriver. Just tighten the switch. And the same with the one at the bottom. There we go, nice and tight. Next, we're going to refit the master cylinder. And what we're looking to do is try and make sure that that is nice and even with the handlebar itself, so it's following the same contours. Now, using the holder itself, you'll see there's an up symbol. Just make sure it goes up. It's pretty self-explanatory. Pop the bolt into the two handlebars there, and just finger tight for the minute, because what we're going to do is we're going to come back to that in a second once we're happy with everything, we can get the alignment right. Now the next job is to fit the other side. So this is a case of duplicating what we've just done. Apart from this is the throttle side. So on here, first off we're going to do is remove the master cylinder brakes again, with the top and the bottom holes, and then place your bracket there. Move the master cylinder to one side, and again there's two screws on the rear of this to remove the throttle assembly. Same on the bottom. Okay, so that's both screws removed. Now, just remember that unlike the other side, this has the throttle assembly with the cable, etc., all contained inside. So, what I found was a little easier if you undo these bolts now, slide the rod out and slide the new rod in. It just makes life a little bit faster. So, we undo this rod. Now, if you just keep this together, just for the minute with your hand. Undo the two bolts. Oh, that's weird. I've got the longer ones in that one. Then, if you slide this pole out, if you keep it sandwiched together, you can just slide that out together. And then what we're going to do is slide the new one back in. So then take your dropped handlebar rod, slide that into the throttle. Right, you see that, keeping that pinched together, and taking the bolt with the bevel washer and place that into there, and the same with the other one. Now you can just do these up finger tight for the minute. Now, with your throttle gear still in your hand, you want to locate that pin into the back of the rod again, which will give you your positioning exactly right where the switch gear needs to be, and you'll feel it click in. Right, that's that one into place there. Then take your 2 screws that you took out, and again refit those into the back of the switch. And the same with the bottom one. Again, nice and tight. Oh, that's not right tight. So again, nice and tight. So that's it. And then just check that your throttle is working correctly, that you haven't dropped the cable out. Now, the next job is to refit the master cylinder, again with the up symbol going up. Refit the 2 bolts back in, top and bottom. What we're going to do is we're going to just leave these loose for our final positioning once we've got the handlebars and we're happy with everything. Now we do supply the bar end inserts, so this allows you to fit the actual bar end weights to the end of your handlebars. Now on the original handlebar, the bar end weights or the bar end rods are actually a billet, completely solid, and so these bar end weights would just simply bolt through into this. On ours they're tubes, so you need a little fitting which we include in the kit, and it's really straightforward. You just simply put the fitting kit onto your bar end weight itself like so, and then just literally slide it into place and then tighten up with your Allen key if I can find it. And then slide it into the bar end rod itself, and then just simply tighten it up with an Allen key. And that's your bar end weight done. And just make sure that your throttle spins back. And then place the other bar end weight into this side. Holding the bar end weight, just simply turn the Allen key itself until it's tight. And that is your bar end weight fitted. Next, replace your headset top, and again, same as before, just make sure you click it in and you hear the click. Once it's clicked, that's it in. Then you can simply replace the handlebar top with the 2 screws underneath. Then the next thing to do is to position your levers. I find the best thing to do is to actually just push them as far down as they'll go. I think it works about right. And then just grab your final bit and just tighten the bars into place. And that, your bar end drops fitted. And they are super cool. So here's a different version or adaptation that you can do as an add-on, and these are bar end indicators. Now what I've done is I've fitted the bar end indicator into the downpipe tube, and we have the 3 tails of the wires. One of the great things about these tubes is they're hollow and we can run the wires through it. Now when you're refitting the bolts into this, just make sure that you're not touching any of the wires when you just push them through. Just push them to one side and make sure they're loose, and then the same. And then just make sure that you haven't caught the cables. So we'll fit those back into the rod itself. And again, with the 3 tails just kept to one side, just making sure they're nice and loose and they're not snagged in any way. And again, we're going to refit the brake master cylinder and the switch gear. Okay, so let's put these on. And there we go. Now, how cool is that looking? Now, another addition I really like is bar end mirrors. Now, these are really neat. Now, these are basically a forged billet bar end mirror. What's really good is the lens can move around. So instead of having to move with these really big indicators that a lot of people, mirrors that a lot of people have, these stay stationary, and it's just the glass that you need to move. And I really like that. I think it's brilliant. Okay, so that's the drops fitted to these 2 scooters. That's the JPS and the GP. The stance on them is awesome. I hope you like the look of them. It looks so much better than standard. Now, if you want a set of these drops, you just need to drop along to your local Tasso dealer that stocks our products, or you can order them directly from our website, the link of which is in the description below. Thanks for watching, and look forward to the next episode.
Thanks for watching, and please subscribe below so you don't miss our next episode.